My name's Clay Mercer, and I ain't a hero. Never was, never tried to be. I've stolen horses, robbed banks, and crossed state lines with blood still wet on my boots. But nothing, not the shootouts, not the Hanjin trees, not even the war, could have prepared me for what I found on that goddamn train. It was supposed to be simple. A Southern Pacific freight heading west out of Cheyenne, carrying payroll gold for the new mining camp near Dead Mare Ridge. I'd been watching it for weeks. Every Tuesday like clockwork, just before sunset, she rolled in, filled up with crates stamped U.S. Treasury, and chugged off into the dust. The guards? Sloppy. The timing? Predictable. And the tracks? Isolated for miles. I got 2 boys with me, Levi Boone, my triggerman, and Tommy Ricks, a jittery but loyal kid I picked up in Arizona. We knew the terrain, had the horses, had the plan. We'd rigged the line near Widow's Curve, where the tracks bend sharp round a ravine. Blow the brakes, climb aboard, grab the gold, vanish. But as they say out here, plans don't mean much when the devil's riding shotgun. We lit the dynamite just before dusk. The sun was bleeding red behind the hills, and the only sounds were coyotes and the distant hiss of that iron beast rolling in. I remember Levi grinning under his bandana. "She's comin', Clay," he said. "Fast as sin." And she was. Steam howlin', wheels screamin' against the rails. Then boom. The brakes buckled like matchsticks. The train groaned, sparks flying, iron screaming against iron. But it didn't stop. It slowed, sure, but it didn't stop. "Something's wrong," I shouted. "Maybe the fuse was off," Tommy yelled, eyes wide. "No," I said. "That train should be on its side." Still, we leapt on, Levi and I to the second car, Tommy hanging off the rear. The metal was hot, vibrating like thunder under our boots. I pried open the door. And froze. Inside were no crates. No payroll. No guards. Just empty seats. Not cargo car seats. Passenger seats. Wooden, worn, and lined in perfect rows like a church. Only, the place was dark. Real dark. No lanterns, no lamps, just a flicker of candlelight at the far end. I stepped in, gun drawn, boots echoing on the floorboards. Levi followed. "Where the hell is the gold?" "I dunno," I muttered. "This ain't the freight." "But we saw it," he whispered. "Same time. Same line. Same damn route." We pushed forward, past the creaking benches, toward that little light. And then, a voice. Low. Dry as bones. "You boys relate." I raised my revolver so fast I nearly pulled my shoulder out. "Who's there?" Out of the shadows came a man. Or what used to be one. He wore a conductor's uniform, old and dusty, with buttons that looked hand-forged. His face was pale, his eyes too dark, too deep. Like looking down a well. "You missed your stop," he said. Levi cursed and fired. Bang. The bullet hit square in the man's chest, and passed straight through like smoke. No blood. No flinch. The man just smiled. "Time's tricky out here," he said. "Sometimes you think you're robbing a train, but really, the train's robbing you." I backed up. My spine went cold. "We need to go," I muttered. "Where's Tommy?" Levi asked. We spun and rushed back to the platform. Tommy was gone. We checked the next car. And the next. Then the next. Each one different. One was a saloon, complete with a long mirror and dusty bottles that hadn't been touched in decades. Another looked like a nursery, lined with empty cradles and torn dolls. One had no floor, just endless darkness beneath our boots. No sign of Tommy. No sign of gold. Just that damned conductor always one car behind, smiling. "You're not supposed to be here," he'd say. We tried to get off. We really did. But every door we opened led to another car. Not the outside. Not the platform. Just more inside. More wrongness. Once we opened a door and saw the same car we just left. Levi marked the wall with a knife. We came back round 3 cars later, and there was the mark. "We're stuck," he said. "No," I growled. "There's always a way out." I tried the roof. Climbed up through a hatch, lungs burnin', only to find the sky pitch black, no stars, no moon, just wind and smoke. The train was moving fast, too fast. Trees zipped by like ghosts. The land outside was wrong. Bent. Colors off. Like a dream you can't wake from. That's when we heard it. A scream. Not a man's. Not a woman's. Something else. It came from the front car, the engine. Levi hesitated, but I didn't. We needed answers. We moved forward car by car. Past a library filled with books written in symbols I couldn't read. Past a dining car where no one sat, but plates were warm, and the food never spoiled. Finally, we reached the engine. And there he was. Tommy. Or what was left of him. He was standing in front of the boiler, eyes wide, muttering something over and over. His lips bled. His fingers were raw. "He's making me look," he whispered. I grabbed him. "Tommy! What happened?" He looked up. Tears mixed with soot. "There's no end," he said. He showed me the end. "There's no gold, Clay. There's just the ride." Behind us, the conductor stood again. No sound. No steps. "This train runs on regrets," he said. "Every soul that steps aboard's got something they'd rather not remember." I raised my gun. Levi raised his. This time, I shot him in the head. He fell back. Smoke hissed, and then the lights flickered. The train screeched. It jerked so hard Levi flew sideways and hit the wall. I grabbed Tommy and held on as the metal beast shuddered, twisted, shrieked. And then... silence. I woke up in the dirt. Dust in my mouth. Blood on my boots. We were at the bottom of Widow's Curve. The train was gone. No wreckage. No tracks. Just Levi, laying beside me, barely breathing. Tommy was nowhere. We staggered to the nearest town. Folks said they heard a noise like thunder, but saw nothing. No train ever came through that night. The line? Shut down 5 years prior. Payroll never existed. No shipments. No schedule. Just a dead track long since buried in weeds. To this day, Levi won't speak of it. He's gone blind in one eye. Won't sleep indoors. Sleeps near the fire like a dog. Me? I keep a revolver loaded under my bed, even now. Not for men. But for the sound I sometimes hear in the distance. A whistle. Low and cold. Closer every night. Levi stopped talking after that. Something broke inside him. He just sat by the fire every night, mumbling to himself, polishing his Colt even though he never fired it again. I tried to get him to ride with me once or twice after the fall, but he'd just shake his head and whisper, "Train's still moving, Clay. We just got thrown off a while." For a while, I figured it was all in our heads. A mix of smoke, dynamite, and guilt. Maybe the train really did crash and our brains just scrambled the memory. It happens. You live this life long enough, your mind finds ways to cover the blood. But the more I tried to forget it, the harder it came knocking. It started with dreams. Same one, over and over. I'm back on that car with the wooden benches. Only this time, every seat's filled with people I've killed. Bank tellers. Marshals. The farmer I shot over a card game in Kansas. They just sit there, quiet. Staring. Bleeding. Waiting. Then I wake up, heart pounding, smelling smoke. Not just in the dream. In my damn room. I started moving town to town. Looking for answers, though I didn't rightly know what kind. Whiskey didn't help. Preachers didn't help. Women didn't help. Even tried a medicine man outside Flagstaff who burned sage and spit tar. He looked me in the eye and said, "You didn't get off that train, white man. Not all of you." It chilled me. I started looking up railroad records. Folks said I was digging for a job, but I was digging for the past. I found an article in an old newspaper from 1881. Southern Pacific number 77 missing. Train disappeared between Cheyenne and Dead Mare Ridge. Conductor presumed dead. Search called off after 3 days. Line abandoned. There was a photo. Faded. Blurry. But it showed the crew. And I swear on my mother's grave, the conductor was the same man we saw on that train. Same dead eyes. Same smile. Only thing was, the article was dated 20 years before I was born. I rode back to Widow's Curve alone. Just me, my horse, and a bottle of rye. Didn't take long to find the tracks, buried, but still there. I followed them a few miles until they just ended. Like someone laid the rails into the middle of nowhere and forgot to finish. And that's when I heard it. Not a sound a man wants to hear in an open prairie. A whistle. Faint, but clear. It didn't sound like any train I ever heard. Too deep. Too hollow. Like it wasn't pushing steam, but pulling souls. I turned to leave. And that's when I saw the man. Tall. Pale. Uniform still neat after all these years. "Your seat's still warm, Mr. Mercer," he said. I pulled my gun. Emptied all 6 rounds into his chest. He vanished like smoke again. But this time, the smoke didn't disappear. It curled around my boots, crept up my legs like fingers, and suddenly I wasn't standing on dirt anymore. I was back inside the car. The same benches. Same flickering candle. Same damn cold in my bones. But now, I was alone. No Levi. No Tommy. Just me. And them. The seats filled, one by one, with everyone I ever wronged. My father, with his busted jaw. My brother, whose horse I stole. Even Sarah, she was the only woman I ever loved. Died in childbirth 'cause I ran off with the doc's saddlebag full of silver. She looked at me with hollow eyes and whispered, "The ride don't stop, Clay. Not till you face it." I ran. Car to car. Screamin', sweatin', fists poundin' on metal and wood. But every door just opened to more of me. Reflections. Versions. Lives I could have lived. Roads I could have walked. In one car I was a sheriff. In another, a priest. In one, I was lying in a pine box with Mercer carved on the side. Then I heard it again. A scream. Levi's voice. I ran toward it. Opened the last door, and found him hanging from the ceiling by a noose of his own belt, eyes bulgin', twitchin'. "Make it stop, Clay!" he gurgled. I grabbed him. Pulled him down. He vanished in my arms like ash. And I stood there, gaspin', chest heavin'. Then, the conductor stepped out of the smoke again. "You can't steal what's already gone, son," he said. "The train don't run on gold. It runs on weight. Regret. And yours is heavy." I dropped to my knees. For the first time in my life, I begged. "I'm sorry," I said. "I didn't know. I didn't mean." He leaned in close. I could smell the coal, the rust, the time on his breath. "No one means to," he said. "But choices are tickets. And once you punch yours, the ride don't stop." He snapped his fingers. And everything went black. I woke up in a hospital in Laramie. A rancher found me starving in the desert, eyes glazed, whispering about a train that ran on souls. They thought I had sun fever. Delirium. But I know the truth. Levi was never found. Tommy never existed in any census, any record. And me? I still see the smoke some nights. Still hear the whistle. Sometimes I feel the rumble in my bones when I lie down. Like the rails are waitin'. I didn't ride any more after that. Hung up my boots, sold my guns, and bought a small shack 2 miles outside of Laramie. Folks around here know me as the quiet one. Just an old-timer who don't say much, don't drink much, don't smile. What would I smile about? Some nights, when the wind kicks up and the coyotes howl, I light a fire and sit out on the porch. That's when I feel it again. The shaking. The hum under the dirt. Like rails still running beneath the world. Like something coming. I've tried to live decent. Even helped some drifters find honest work. Donated to the church. Read the good book front to back. But it doesn't wash away the past. It doesn't quiet the ride. Last week, a boy came to town. Wide-eyed, young, full of swagger. Said he heard stories about me. Clay Mercer, the train bandit. He called me. I told him I didn't ride anymore. But he laughed. Said there was a line reopening west of Widow's Curve. Mining boom. Big payroll shipments coming in. He looked me in the eye and said, "You think you could still do it? One more ride?" I told him no. He left. But not before I saw it. In his eyes. The same hunger I had. Same fire. Same weight. That night, I had the worst dream yet. The train was moving through snow now. Endless snow, whipping against the windows. I sat in the same car, except the seats were full of strangers this time. Men. Women. Children. All silent. All frozen. Then the conductor stepped in. His face changed this time. Less human. More shadow. He walked the aisle and whispered in every ear. "Ticket punched. Ticket punched. Ticket punched." When he reached me, he leaned in. "You've delayed long enough, Mr. Mercer." I looked down, and found a ticket in my hand. Charred around the edges. My name scratched in blood. I woke up gasping. That morning I saddled my old horse for the first time in years. My body groaned. My bones hated me. But I rode. All the way to Widow's Curve. And when I got there, I wasn't surprised to find fresh tracks laid out. Real ones. Steel shining. As if someone had just finished building them. But I knew better. I followed them for a mile, then stopped. Because there, on the horizon, coming through the dust, was the train. Same engine. Same whistle. But this time, it wasn't smoking. It was breathing. The smoke curled like lungs. The windows glowed like eyes. It wasn't a machine anymore. It was alive. And it was coming for me. I didn't run. Didn't draw. Just stood still as it screeched to a halt in front of me. The door opened. No one inside. Just a bench with my name carved into the wood. And a gun on the seat. The conductor's voice echoed through the wind, though I couldn't see him. "One last ride, Clay. You end it or it ends you." I stepped on. The doors shut behind me. The train roared to life. This time, I didn't fight it. Didn't search for exits. Just walked the cars one by one. Each filled with pieces of my life. The saloon I burned in Tucson. The jail I escaped in Wichita. The church pew where I watched Sarah marry another man. All of it. All laid bare. And then, one final door. I opened it. And saw me. Sitting in a wooden chair. Old. Wrinkled. Alone. Staring into a fire that didn't burn. The other me looked up and smiled. "You finally made it." He raised the revolver from his lap. I didn't flinch. He didn't shoot. He handed it to me. One bullet. "I kept it warm," he said. "Now it's your turn to choose." And then he faded. I was alone. The train slowed. Stopped. And for the first time, I saw outside. A field. Sunset. Warm air. Daisies. A woman's laugh in the distance. Peace. But I knew. It wasn't real. Not for me. Not unless I paid. So I sat down. Spun the chamber. Closed my eyes. Pulled the trigger. Click. Nothing. The train began to shake. The door burst open. The conductor returned. "You made your choice," he said. And for the first time, I saw sorrow in his face. I opened my eyes and found myself here. Right here. Writing this. A journal I'll leave behind in case someone finds it. Maybe you'll believe me. Maybe you won't. But if you ever find yourself near Widow's Curve, and you hear that whistle in the distance. Don't get on. No matter what you've done. No matter what you think you deserve. Don't get on.